Kim, it's all yours.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Kim Toven, and I'm the manager of the scheduling team, and we have an awesome team. Our pre-scheduling department is responsible for all things related to the weekly Thompson relay schedules and the monthly TV schedule. Our scheduling support administrators maintain our customer schedules, and then the short notice scheduling department does all things scheduling related after the release. On-air services helps with the scheduling related emergencies and things after the release when the SNS crew is off. And we'll schedule a future office hours with Kayla and David from OAS to help answer questions and explain how things work in that part of the process. And first I want to say, because I know a lot of people are wondering about it, that as far as we know, we're continuing to schedule this way, in the way that we have been. Any decisions about potential changes to scheduling just simply haven't been made yet. So that is what we know about that at this point. I made up a brief video to help explain how the scheduling process works. It's about 8 minutes long, and then I'll talk a little more. Afterwards, please make a note of any questions you have as you watch it, and then hopefully we'll have time for them at the end for a little Q&A. And of course, we can't discuss individual captioners' schedules on this call. So if you have any questions about your particular schedule or situation, please send us an email afterwards at requests@captioncolorado.com, and pre-scheduling will be happy to answer your questions. So also we'll make this video available to you on the Journey site afterwards. So I'm going to start playing it. I'm going to show you a brief summary of the scheduling processes and software programs we use to create and maintain our Captioners TV schedules. Our Captioners availability is set up in the system in a 2-week time frame, which allows captioners to have different days off every other week if need be. In this example, we have a captioner available 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. This is all in Mountain Time. This captioner is off Sunday and Sunday, and in this week, their weekday off is Tuesday, and on this week it's Monday. To give you an idea of the scope, as of February 2017, we have about 15,000 hours of recurring, repeating television events in our schedule each month. Since we can count on those hours occurring most of the time, our scheduling software first works to assign these events in the best way possible. To help you an idea of what roles are, I made this file. You can pause and read through the details if you want later, but basically it shows that we have, say, these events. We may put them together in a certain pattern that makes the most sense, to help reduce prep time and increase.
Can you guys all hear that? Can you guys hear the video playing at all?
No, okay. Not well. Okay, so try and crank up your, I'll turn up mine as well. I don't want to mess it up with my speakerphone, but maybe that'll help. It's low. Okay, yeah, turn yours up. I'll turn mine up, and we'll I'll rewind a little bit and try again. Programs we use to create and maintain our Captioners TV schedules. Our Captioners availability is set up in the system in a 2-week time frame, which allows captioners to have different days off every other week if need be. In this example, we have a captioner who is available 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. This is all in Mountain Time. This captioner is off Sunday and Sunday, and in this week, their weekday off is Tuesday, and on this week, it's Monday. To give you an idea of the scope, as of February 2017, we have about 15,000 hours of recurring or repeating television events in our schedule each month. Since we can count on those hours occurring most of the time, our scheduling software first works to assign these events in the best way possible. To help give you an idea of what roles are, I made this file. You can pause and read through the details if you want later, but basically it shows that we have, say, these events. We may put them together in a certain pattern that makes the most sense, to help reduce prep time and increase quality and increase consistency across days. So this is what a role might look like, and you can see what captioner availability is. In this instance, that role was assigned inside this captioner's availability. And then non-recurring events, which are ones that are not regular, that we can't count on, are then added into the system. And in this example, we may fit these ones in on that captioner schedule before the TV monthly schedule is released. Currently, the schedule is released with around 16,000 hours per month. Here you can see some examples of some typical morning schedules. This is the start time, and it's broken down by half hour. So you can see in this instance, there's a 2:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. WABC news, followed by some cut-ins. And then there's also a 10 to 11 a.m. Mountain WABC that we put with that for consistency purposes, and then also a 2 to 3 p.m. There are many factors that go into creating a role. We tried to schedule similarly rated customers and events together. We also tried to keep the roles fairly well balanced as far as the number of hours per role. Here you can see some examples of some evening roles. Evening events tend to be shorter, which can make it interesting as far as creating roles that have enough hours in them for full-time schedules. You can see that we tried to keep consistency here as well. KCNC is with another one and then with another one later. And also in these examples I've been showing you, these are specifically for weekdays. So Mondays through Fridays are the ones I've been showing you. There are completely different tabs and events maintained for Saturdays and Sundays, since their events are so vastly different than the weekday events. One thing that I wanted to point out with the morning roles is it's a good example of what can happen if a captioner does not have full availability. In this example, say that there are maybe 50 morning roles a captioner could have, and if they remove availability from 6 to 7 a.m., as some people need to do, that can reduce drastically the number of roles that will fit on their schedule. For example, I looked at a 2:30 a.m. start captioner, has 50 plus roles that they can do. If they add in a gap or remove availability from 6 to 7 a.m. on those weekdays, that can reduce it down to just 12 roles that are available to be assigned to them. Due to the number of captioners and customers that we have, prescheduling uses a specialized software to help automate the creation of the monthly TV schedule. It's called the Auto Role Scheduler, or ARS. Information that's maintained in our database about each captioner and customer is fed into the ARS. It regards technical capabilities, ratings, etc. And then the ARS works to assign the events, maximizing the efficiency of captioner schedules, providing consistency within each month, while considering all vital factors which are, as you can imagine, ever-changing, such as captioner ratings, customer ratings, captioner availability, our customers' events, balancing of hours, time off, full-time, part-time status changes, new or exiting captioners, customer technical requirements, and captioner technical capabilities. As you can imagine, these factors do change quite frequently, which can cause noticeable changes to captioners' schedules as the ARS tries to schedule efficiently. The ARS looks to assign full roles first, and then breaks up roles and assigns individual events as well and as consistently as possible. Once the ARS has created what we call the base schedule, prescheduling combines it with the actual events in the upcoming month and starts working on that upcoming month. The software that they use to prepare the monthly TV schedule is called Schedule Planner. Here is the main screen that we use. This shows the 14-day cycle. It's a little hard to get used to looking at, but it shows Sunday, the morning before noon is here, and then afternoon is here, Monday, and so on. Captioner availability is shown in yellow, so this captioner is available on this first Monday of the 2-week cycle from 2:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The red shows regular days off, and the purple shows approved time off, so that was something that this captioner got approved, and it was marked in the system, and it's reflected in Schedule Planner here, so we know to remove the events that would have regularly been scheduled there. The pre-scheduling team can also be green, which is extra added availability. Say this captioner wanted to offer up some extra time in case there was something that we needed covered. Pre-scheduling then removes and reassigns events that are displaced due to captioners' approved time off. Like in the purple I was showing you earlier, they would assign non-recurring events that weren't a part of the base when the ARS did its assignments, work on balancing and assigning CCOC on-call, which a large amount, maybe about 60% of our on-call events are pre-scheduled to captioners at times that they requested, and we work with them to find a time that's available. If there are CCOC blocks that are not pre-scheduled automatically to a certain person and so they are unassigned, the ARS may try to fit it in if there's a an open place in someone's availability where they don't have any other events. It may fit some hours in there. Basically, to finish getting the TV schedule ready for release, then prescheduling covers unassigns, runs various reports, balances hours, and makes manual changes as necessary. Then the schedule is exported into Bison Scheduler. Then prescheduling does some final checks and gets some reports and releases the monthly TV schedule. From that point, short notice scheduling and on-air services are responsible for all scheduling-related changes, additions, cancellations, customer and captioner emergencies, etc. Financial events and relay events are scheduled on a weekly basis because of the way those events are ordered and how they come into the system, so those are done separately.
All right. So hopefully that video helps explain a little bit about the basics of TV scheduling, how it all starts, and where the process goes from there. I'm going to go a little bit more into some other scheduling things, and then we'll have time for Q&A. So basically, after sustained growth in the company several years ago, we knew that we needed a better, more automated way to schedule, as we just got too big for the system we were using. And so thus the automated role scheduler happened, which was a good improvement for us. It's an efficient way to schedule our almost 300 captioners and almost 300 customers. And in the past few months, there have been less unassigns because we got closer to capacity than we had been in many years. When Vitac purchased Caption Colorado, they had full intentions to grow the company, and so the hiring and the growth continues, which is great for us. It looks like a great future. One important thing to note is that customers don't necessarily have hours at the times where we have lots of captioners just open and available. Many of the events happen at what we call peak times, just times that there's an overload of events. So because of that, our part-time captioners are vital in helping us cover these peak busy times, like 9 p.m. And having such peaks and valleys, of course, is a huge challenge with scheduling and with balancing hours and coverage. The primary goal of the auto role scheduler is to cover as many events as possible well. So before the ARS, captioner schedules would stay more the same month to month, but as a result of that, we lost so much efficiency in that process. Events weren't assigned the best way possible, and then as the company continued growing, we were just crippling ourselves as far as coverage. So as I mentioned in the video, there are many ever-changing factors that go into scheduling, such as ratings, availability, when our customers' events are, time off, people's status, whether they're full-time or part-time, vice versa, new and exiting customers, and the technical requirements and technical capabilities. So any one change, as you can imagine, in these factors can have a ripple effect across the system. So certainly when there are multiple changes, it can affect many captioners, like when we do the quarterly ratings updates, which are coming up mid-March, and then June and September and December again. So the ARS works to keep schedules as consistent as possible within each month, but it does take all of these changes into consideration when it's creating the next month's schedule, which can often cause shifting schedules from month to month. And I'll talk briefly about availability. And again, if you have any questions about your particular schedule or availability, please contact us individually at request@captioncolorado.com. In order to get enough hours and coverage, full-time captioners should work 4 weekdays and 1 weekend day per week. For prescheduling to be able to assign enough hours, full-time morning or day captioners typically need to be available 2:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Mountain, or sometimes starting at 3 or 4 a.m., and that really depends on what events need to be covered at that time. Full-time evening schedules typically require availability of 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. Mountain. And schedules are based on our customers' needs and our shortages. The ability to move part-time captioners to full-time really is dependent on many factors like rating, customers' needs, our captioners' preferred availability. And so we have people ask all the time what it takes to go full-time, and we have prescheduling keeps a waiting list that lists everyone we know of who wants full-time. Once their rating gets to be a 3 or higher on TV news, we start looking closely at our shortages, what schedules are available, and comparing that with the captioner's preferred availability. So as I mentioned in the video, events in the evening tend to be shorter, so there are less full-time evening schedules. If you want to be added to that list or find out if you are on it, please contact prescheduling at requests, and we'd be happy to look into that for you. Or if you want to find out the status of where you are on the list, any of those things, let us know. One big thing that I kept thinking of as I was preparing for this was I want to let everyone know I don't want you to think of it as an us versus them kind of thing. Your scheduling team really does want to help you, and we know you have lives, and we make things as flexible as we can. We try to accommodate your requests or find good compromises while making sure that we cover our customers' needs, or otherwise we'd all be out of a job. So we always have to look at that. And I want to explain briefly what max weekly hours are. In order to avoid overtime, we have a limit set in the system on the number of on-air hours you should be able to caption per week without going over 40. And so that is just a calculation that includes your average prep time. That's part of the reason it's so important for you to enter actual hours. And so that's just a calculation we do and then update in the system, and it tries to keep it so that you're under the 40 hours per week. I want to talk briefly about the regular time off process that goes on throughout the year. Currently, as you know, we just went through the twice a year process, and so now dates are available to be requested through September 2017. The system can handle a number of captioners off each day, and it's on a first come first served basis as far as asking for dates during this regular process. There's no limit in this time frame here for the number of dates that you can request off, as long as it doesn't get excessive and leave us in the lurch with availability or anything like that. If a day is full, prescheduling will add you to a standby spot and let you know if it becomes available. And we really do, before each month, we look very, very carefully at everyone who's in standby and see, once we have the real live facts of that actual month that's coming up, we look and see if there's any way at all to approve more people without leaving a huge number of unassigns, especially at peak times. So there's a lot of factors in that also that we have to look into. But we do, again, we try. We're on your side. We do try really hard to approve everyone that we can. And let's see, a couple more things. Prescheduling needs all availability and time off requests submitted for the upcoming month by the 10th, and that's just so that it allows us time to make any potential changes. All requests that come in require some investigation and seeing where the needs are, what we can do, what we can't do, usually going back and forth and saying, well, we can't quite do that, but how about we change that? Or, it takes time. So just getting those in by the 10th allows us the opportunity to look into changes. And I think that's it. Hopefully that gives a good overview of the challenges of the creation of the TV schedule. And now I'll let you guys talk. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so one came in here. Can you explain exactly how, or give an example how a captioner gets to show speed or accuracy? Why do shows all of a sudden change from ones you've been getting for several months? The system looks at your ratings, and it looks at the customer's ratings, and so each month, there's logic in the auto roll scheduler to try to keep you with the same customers if possible, but especially when ratings happen or when there's a lot of changes that happen, the updates that we do quarterly, especially at that time, it just needs basically to be just I don't want to say shuffled, it needs to be changed. It needs to look at all of the updates because there are so many, and that can cause a change. It's trying to compare and match up the best way possible, captioner ratings with customer ratings, and so sometimes that results in shifting of schedules. And so we try to keep the big, reshuffling for the quarterly updates when we know there's big changes going on. And just sometimes, if we're adding customers or losing a bunch of, when we lost Comcast, we just had to do a big reshuffle because it impacted so much what our regular base recurring schedule was. So hopefully that helps answer that. What else do we have? Okay, sure. Yeah, the prep hours that I mentioned, how it ties in with the maximum hours, I'm assuming. So basically, say you on average prep about 10 hours a week. So then in the system, it would just mean we would set your maximum for on-air hours at 30. So then that's when you start getting the warnings. If you're at 30 and you're trying to pick up more events, you'll get the little message that you're over your hours, and the purpose of that is just to keep the on-air and the prep time hours as close to or below 40 as possible. Do we have any more? I know we do. So let me know. You can come on the phone too if you have one, or send a message on the chat. How much of me talking? Someone else can talk. I hate hearing my voice on that video. It's weird to hear your own voice. It's just weird. So, okay. So does speed have anything to do with the rating of a station? Do you want to talk about how stations are rated?
I think that's more of a question for David Supp, since he's the one that actually works on rating them. It plays a lot into where they are in the country, if they fall into the top 25 nationwide, so like DC, New York, Florida, all of those are going to be higher rated just because of where they're located. DC, because they have FCC in their backyard, we're going to monitor them a lot more. It also is based on customer complaints. If we have a lot of them, we will change the rating of a station. Speed doesn't normally play into it just because, unfortunately, we don't actually know where the speeds are. If for some reason we have a lot of complaints about speed on a station, we'll look into it. But most of the time, it has more to do with location of the station.
All right, so hopefully you all could hear that. That was Shara. Good answer. Thank you. I know. We're on speakerphone in here, so let us know if you can't hear. All right, what else do we have? Did you guys have any questions from the video, the softwares we use, why we do some things the way we do them? And again, at this moment, you know, we don't expect and don't know of any plans to change the way we do things. I think over the years we've come up with really, really amazing tools to help us. And I know, you know, it doesn't always give us all the flexibility we'd like, but really looking at the overall picture, I think we try very hard to be flexible and do what we can when we're able. Just the way that our customers' events happen to be scheduled. They aren't spread out as much as we wish they were. If we could tell them when to add events, we would love to. And we'd say, no more 9 p.m. and we'd have them be in the middle of our lulls, and that would be perfect. Love to be able to have shorter days, and maybe someday we can. Oh, thank you. Yes, there's my little family.
I was going to say that. Your kids are so cute, Kim.
Thank you. They grow too fast, though. Our oldest is almost 10. Crazy. All right, what else do you have? And always, you can definitely email on the side. We'd love it if you email us at request. You know, we'd always love it if you come to the source, you know, as opposed to wondering or assuming something about how we do things. Please ask us. You know, sometimes it takes us a couple days to get back to you, or longer if we're working on the schedule, but we're glad to look into any requests you have and trying to work things out with you. Like I said, it's a lot of compromise sometimes. Someone might want one thing, and it's like, oh, we can't quite do that, or sometimes we can do that. Or sometimes it's, let's put you on the waiting list, and we'll watch for that to be a possibility. And so it's just a process, and as you can see, hopefully that video helps show, you know, how many pieces of the puzzle there are and how huge it is, how many things go into it. There's information about every captioner in our database that has to be updated all the time, and we have almost 300 captioners, so it's a lot of information, and that's why the auto scheduler is so helpful. It's helping to make the best decisions. Let's see. When will VITAC shows blend in with captions? We haven't heard anything about any of that, whether we're going to be combined or not. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. It takes time to discuss everything and look at how things work, and that is all we know at this point.
Does anybody have anything else?
Or says, please do not let them change our way of scheduling.
Hey,
Laura.
Laura?
Yeah, I love Yes, I know. Laura said, please do not let them change our way of scheduling. I agree with that. From just the way our scheduling system has changed over the years. You know, I've been here almost 15 years, and I think the way we're doing it is really, really good. And you know, we make adjustments all the time. If we are hearing common complaints or requests for things to change, we get with our developers, and we're a very flexible company. We try, you know, we'll dig into things, we'll look up information, we'll see, well, is this feasible? Can we do that or not? And so I think we have made many, many improvements to our software and the way we do things. And really, again, the goal is to cover our customers' events as well as possible, but we put a very high priority on flexibility as well. How can we, Kimberly asked, how can we educate ourselves? Oh wait, hold on, I just moved. Hold on, a couple more messages. I just missed one. How can we educate ourselves about our new employer? Can we have a list of Vitex customers?
I don't know. You can go to their website. They have a list of some of their customers. I don't know that we'll ever have that unless we actually end up combining schedules completely.
All right, were you guys able to hear that? Sharon said she's not sure. Someone asked if we can have a list of Vitex customers, and I think unless we do end up combining with them at some point down the road, I don't know that we would know who they are, but you can definitely do searches on the internet, you know, go to their website, learn more about them, which is what I did when I learned about it. So you can find out a lot online, and certainly as we find out things and if we learn of any discussions of any changes happening, you know, we'll let you guys know. Yes, I agree. I don't know, can they all see all these chats?
No, that's all you.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends on who they send.
Okay. So one captioner said, I love our scheduling process because it feels flexible and like a real team. I totally agree. Excellent. And so like I said too, like our full-timers are just as important as our part-timers. You all have a role here, and especially with those peaks, I mean, we have to have our part-timers. They are very, very, very important. We would have like 40 9 p.m.s unassigned every night if we didn't have part-timers. It's so important. And I know sometimes people want part-time mornings, and it really, like I said, it depends on the customer's needs and where things are that need to be covered. And at this point, and for many years, we've been focusing people on that 9 p.m. because that's where the news happens, unfortunately. All right, any more questions?
It looks like there's one from Katie. I can answer that, Katie. It's like, I mean, most of us learned like shortly, I think the same day you guys learned, earlier in that morning.
Yep. Laura, I believe. What was the comment about?
Does any?
Sorry, Patty, go ahead.
Does anyone else have anything else? Well, I mean, we'll give it a couple more seconds. You can either type it in the chat window or just speak up if you like.
Okay.
Nothing?
That's normal.
All right. Well, again, please let us know. Rescheduling, and then I also check that email too. You can email me directly at KimT or at requests, and that goes to the request team and myself. So we'll be happy to look into anything for you or answer any more questions that you have. So thanks for joining
everyone.
us. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And how do you